I've gone ahead and created a new Python file, lists.py.
This video is brought to you by ObbyPy's Academy.
And of course, lists are just like what they sound like. And lists can be lists of strings, or integers, or floating point numbers. Let's look at a couple of examples. Let's say we have a list called names. The entire list assignment is going to be surrounded by these hard brackets that you see. And then inside the list, we just have all of the elements that we're assigning to names. So here we could have Mark, Fred, and notice I'm separating these by commas, just like this. So there we've got names, Mark, Fred, Tom, Wendy, Kevin. So we have a list of 5 names here. Now I could also do a list of GPAs the same way, of course, without the quotes, because this is going to be a list of floating point numbers. So let's say 3.41, 2.55, 4.0, 2.95, 3.75. So there we have 2 separate lists. The first is a list of strings, and the second is a list of floating point numbers. Now, if I want to access an individual member of the list, I can use the brackets again like this, names 0, which would refer to Mark. Print names 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, that would be Wendy. Let's go ahead and save and give this a quick test. So here's our terminal window. Get to our Python folder, and we call this lists.py. So there you see Mark and Wendy. Names index 0, Mark. Names index 3, Wendy. Remember that with lists, we always start counting with the 0th element. The first element is the 0th element. It's in the 0th place. Probably haven't heard the word 0th before. I might have actually made it up. All right, so let's say we wanted the GPAs. Well, we could say print GPAs, and same thing, 0. So this will give us the GPA in the first position. And if we run the program again, there you can see 3.41. So lists are pretty easy to define. Now, if we wanted to add to the list, the easiest way to do that is with the append method. So we could say, for example, names.append, and then we can append the string we want to append to this. So let's say we want to add Brett. So now our list is Mark, Fred, Tom, Kevin, Wendy, or Wendy and Kevin, and then Brett. If we print names 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's going to give us Brett because it's appended to the list, in other words, added in the last position. We've saved. Let's take another look, and there we get Brett in the last position. So it's important to remember, however, if you access a value outside the list, here names 15, well, that doesn't exist. That's going to be a problem. See, we got Brett, and then we got this traceback, this error here, which says index error, list index is out of range because there is no names 15. So you always have to work within the defined range of the list. Otherwise, you're going to cause an error. Now, you could just as easily delete members from the list using the delete function, which is del. So if we say del names 5, and then save, that's going to delete the 5th member of the list, which in this case is Brett. Now, commonly, we use a loop to go through an entire list. So we can use our for loop or a while loop to go through the list and mark each item. So let's say we say for name in names, print name. So that's all we're going to do, and let's see what happens here. I'm going to save, and then we'll go ahead and run this here. And there you can see we get Mark, Fred, Tom, Wendy, Kevin. Mark, Fred, Tom, Wendy, Kevin. Remember, we'd have deleted Brett at this point with DEL names 5. So what happens in this for loop is we're saying in names. So that's in the list names for name. So we go through the list, and each item in each iteration is assigned to name. So first Mark, then Fred, then Tom, then Wendy, then Kevin, and then the loop exits. We could do the same thing for score in GPAs. You don't have to be, the name of the variable is arbitrary. You can choose whatever you want. And we print score. That'll go through all of the GPAs one at a time, hitting each member of the list. So let's go ahead and save. And let's run this one more time. I'm going to clear. And there we go. And there we get our GPAs, 3.41, 2.55, 4.0, 2.95, etc. Now, you don't have to just print these out. In the loop, we can do just about anything. So let's say we wanted to average these. So we could say total equals 0. And instead of printing the score, we say total equals total plus score. And now we can print out the average GPA is total divided by how many GPAs we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we'll get an average because we'll go through the loop, and each time we'll add the score to the total, and then we'll divide the total by 5, giving us an average. Let's see how well that works. Save with Command S. The average GPA is 3.332, which looks about right based on this list, and I'm sure it is. Now, this total divided by 5, we might not want to hard code the number of members of the list because the list numbers may change dynamically in the program. We might not know how long the list is going to be at the time we're writing the program. So probably a better way to code this is to use the length function and simply say length and then GPAs, which gives us the length of the GPAs list. Now we're going to get the same result. Average is 3.332. But let's say at some point we added to the GPAs list, we wouldn't have to change this value right here. So for example, let's say right here, we said GPAs, append, and we append, or let's say we append the value 1.55. So now it's going to know that the GPAs list is longer, and it's going to calculate appropriately. So we'll save one last time. And now we get a GPA average of 3.035 because we appended in the 1.55, and we got the length of the GPAs list using the length function. So there you go. We've looked at the list in Python and how to populate the list. We populated a list of strings and a list of floating point numbers. We accessed individual values within the list. We appended to the list and deleted from the list. We used a for loop to loop through the list, and we used the length function to give us the length or number of items on the list itself.